This is going to be a Warrior 3 centered class. We're going to start in child's pose, but we'll quickly make our way up to our seat. It's an all levels class, but if you have some props, some height, some blocks, I'll be offering some prop use throughout the class. Okay, so child's pose. Take your knees, just the edges of your mat, your big toes behind you to touch, and then move your bum back towards your heels. Walk your hands forward, and then just slowly lower towards the ground. If there's some space between your forehead and the ground and you'd like to place your hands, your fists on one another and place your forehead on fists, if that makes the posture a little bit more relaxing for you to do that, of course. We'll start with a few slow breaths. Breathe deeply into your belly, into your sides, in your middle and upper back. And then take the time to extend your exhalations as comfortably as you can. Start to bring some energy into your hands, so spread your fingertips nice and wide apart. And push down through your finger pads so you feel a little lift up and underneath your forearms and elbows, and some strength through your arms. On your next breath in, come all the way up to all fours. Bring your knees underneath your hips and exhale to round your back, push away from the ground, pull your belly in, chin to chest, tailbone down. When you breathe in, lower your belly, lift the ends of your spine. And when you breathe out, move your bum back to where it came from, back to your heels, child's pose. And here, take a full breath cycle, breath in and out. And then breathe in, press down through your hands, the tops of your feet and shins as well, come up to all fours. Exhale to round your back, again, spinal flexion. Breathe in, spinal extension, lower your belly, lift your head and tail. And then move your bum back on your exhalation. And this time we'll take it a little further, but to complete a breath cycle here in child's pose. And then when you breathe in, with the pressure down through your hands, lift up to all fours and tuck your toes. This time exhale, lift your knees up off the ground and come to downward facing dog. Now breathe in here. As you exhale, lower your knees. Inhale, allow your belly to lower, head and tail to lift. And then move your bum back to your heels for child's pose. Again, full breath cycle. And then come back up to all fours on your breath in, tuck your toes. Lift your knees, come to downward facing dog, exhale. And here start to pedal your heels. You can also rock your hips a little here. To feel some tension and length in the back of your legs all the way down to your heels, your calves, and your hamstrings, all the way up to your sit bones. And now on your next breath in, come forward to plank pose. And when you come to plank pose, bring your left knee forward and down underneath your left hip. Draw in through your low belly, lift your right leg. Exhale to round your back, pull your right thigh forward, nose to knee. Inhale, extend your leg back, the crown of your head forward. Exhale, round. Inhale, extend your leg back and your left arm forward as an option here. Breathe out, bring your elbow and knee together. And breathe in, extend. And one final time. When you've extended, lower your left hand, but keep your right leg lifted. Really push through the heel or the ball of your left foot. Stay drawn in through your low belly, so lower belly comes up towards your spine. And try to lift through your inner thighs, so your right toes stay turned down. This is very much the strength, the feeling of strength, a little more support underneath you, of course, but a feeling of strength that you'll need in your leg, lifted leg, when you come to Warrior 3. Now lower your right knee, tuck your toes, push your bum back to your heels, lift your knees, down dog. Take an exhalation to push down through your heels, but tilt up through your sit bones. Breathe in to come forward to plank pose. Place your right knee now underneath your right hip, draw in through your low belly, lift your left leg. When you exhale, round your back, pull your thigh forward, nose to knee. Inhale, extend. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Now add your right arm. Inhale, extend. Exhale, round, bring elbow to knee, chin to chest. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, keep your left leg lifted, lower your right hand. And as you did before, if you feel a little compression into your lower back, draw up through your low belly so you'll feel your tailbone lengthen towards the back edge of your mat. Keep your lifted leg, left leg strong, and lift through your inner thigh to the degree that you can. And lower your left knee. Now take your blocks and walk your hands with your toes tucked back towards your knees. And then turn your blocks onto the high side. And you can do this with your hands on your mat if you'd like to. We're coming to a forward fold. So lift your knees, keep your knees deeply bent, as much as you need to. Your hands can remain on blocks. You can place them on your shins, or you can just dangle over your thighs. When you breathe in, lift up halfway, extending forward through the top of your head, back through your seat, and hold. Draw up through your low spine, and pull your inner shoulder blades a little closer to each other. You can keep your hands, again, grounded on blocks or on your shins for support, or bring your hands to your heart. Now bend your knees, start to lift your torso, take your hands apart and by your hips, breathe in, stand all the way up. And then bring your hands through the midline of your body, by your hips. Then step to the top of your mat. And if your blocks like mine are at the middle of your mat, just bring them forward. Okay. So take a step back with your right foot, a long stride back. And then bend your knees. So you've got your left hip around the same height as your left knee. A little higher, again, no problem here. Pull your right toes forward, your left foot back. Bring your hands to your heart and draw in through your low belly. And then move your chest forward so it matches the angle of your back leg. So we're kind of creating a warrior three, where your right ear, right shoulder, right hip, knee, and ankle are all in one line. You can choose to keep your hands here, or like warrior three, you can take your arms outside you. Just make sure, again, your low belly stays strong in support of your lower back. Or you can turn your palms forward and bring your biceps by your ears. Now continue to reach for the ground. Bring your hands again to the ground or blocks. Lift your right leg. Let's try to keep your torso lifted here. So standing splits, sometimes you would move a little closer towards your standing leg, but in this case, push into your blocks, extend forward through the top of your head, back through your heel, inner thigh lift, and tone through your low belly. Take one more breath in the pose. And then step your foot back like you would for warrior one. So not quite as long a stride as your lunge. Inhale, sweep your arms forward and up. And bend into your left knee. Keep a firm pressure through the outer edge of your right foot. Two more breaths. And then sweep your arms past your hips. You can either interlace your fingers or grab your elbows. If you're really opening your shoulders, reverse namaste, straighten out your right leg, or left leg, excuse me. Pull back through your left hip. Move your chest forward. And if, again, there's some opening, and it's safe to open your chest and shoulders, lift your thumbs away from your lower back. As you take a few more breaths in this pose, just ensure that every in-breath you feel just a gentle pull back through your left heel and the extension forward through the crown of your head. And maybe on your exhalation towards the end of it, you get a little closer towards your thigh and deepen the tension. Last breath. Now take your hands from where they are just to the ground or blocks. Lift your back heel, step forward right into your half lift. Exhale and fold. Bend your knees, rise to stand. And when your palms meet, bring them down by your hips. The second side, step your left foot back. Long stride and wiggle your toes apart. If you'd like to sink your hips a little more deeply. Pull back with your right foot, forward with your left toe so you feel our thigh bones drawing towards each other. Lift up through the center of your chest, bring your hands to your chest. Pull your inner shoulder blades closer together so your chest stays open, your upper back is active. Draw in through your low belly, or you can feel it maybe another way in your body is lowering your bottom set of ribs. And then move your torso forward. Make sure the features of your face are relaxed, your breath is rhythmic, has some length to it. And if you did change the position of your arms, you can either extend them like an airplane, as wings, or turn your palms forward. Final breath in the pose. Find as much length as you can between your left heel and the crown of your head, and then lower your hands to your blocks. Walk them a little further ahead of your shoulders. Lift your left leg. Again, there's a few different heights. Certainly if you have blocks, you can use different heights, and maybe your book isn't square either, so if you're using a book, you can probably do the same. Just make sure you have some stability here with your hands grounded. Extend forward through the top of your head. And then bring your left toes back for warrior one. So land them, heel comes down, inhale, sweep your arms forward and up. And sink into your right knee. Final breath in, lift your arms and your chest just a little more. There's room. Exhale, bring your hands past your hips. Interlace. Take the same arm position, straighten out your right leg. Pull back through your right hip. Move your chest forward. Down's gonna happen. Lift your thumbs away from your lower back to open your chest and your shoulders. And allow your posture, your body to move in the posture. So if you're holding on really tight to a rigid shape, try to free it up a little bit. So your breath in, you may find you move a little further away from your right thigh. On your breath out, especially towards the end of it, get a little closer to it. Now stay low and take your hands apart. Bend your right knee, lift your left heel, and then bring your hands forward onto blocks. Step forward, right into your half lift. Exhale and fold. This time we'll take a little bit more time with this forward fold. Now some options here with your hands. You can wrap your index and middle finger around your toes. You can take your hands around towards your calf and Achilles if you'd like. But if needed, start with a fairly deep knee bend. And start to push down through your heels and tilt up through your sit bones. Now whether the bend comes out of your knees or not important. Just bring an amount of tension in the back of your legs that allows you to keep your breath flowing in support. You notice you're holding strength or tension in your neck, or strength, I guess, in your neck, not so much tension. Try to relax your head so the weight of your head can add to the stretch into your back. Slide your hands to the fronts of your shins or the blocks. Breathe in, lift up halfway. Exhale and fold. Bend your knees, rise to stand. Sweep your arms all the way up. And then hands down by your hips. Take a short step back, maybe a foot or so down your mat. Now, we're coming to Warrior 3, and we'll do it each side, one after the other. Now you can add to the challenge in the pose in a few different ways. Certainly the position of your arms, as we did in the lunge. but also the length of stride you take to get into the pose. So the shorter the stride, I wouldn't say easier the pose is, but the easier to transfer your weight over that short distance. But if you'd like to challenge yourself to take a longer stride, you're certainly welcome to do that as well. So taking a stride length that you feel is one where you won't have to launch yourself into the pose. So something where you can be very much in control of how your body moves through space into Warrior 3. Now again, adding to the challenge, you can take your hands to your heart. You can extend them laterally right off the bat, or you can bring your biceps up by your ears. And you can also change the position of your arms once we're in the pose. Now create Warrior 3. Draw in through your low belly. Keep your upper back active. Start to push away from on your right toes. Shift your weight forward into your left leg and lift your right leg. Here your hands can come down onto blocks. The thing back bends, so your thumbs lift up. Inner right thigh lifts up as well. Two more breaths. Very powerful pose. Find softness in your face, even rhythm of breath, and you're pretty engaged throughout the rest of your body. Last exhalation, then breathe in, tilt all the way up. And lower your hands. And just before shifting right to the other side, just absorb the posture as much as you can for the next few breaths. And then shift your weight towards your right leg. Extend your left leg back. Again, approximately the same stride length that you took on the last side to get into the pose. Again, before getting into the pose, set the support for your spine, tone for your low belly, upper back is active. You're not really changing the curvature of your spine in the pose, you're just trying to support its natural curves. Hands to heart center, take your arms wide, or biceps by your ears with your palms facing each other. Start to hinge forward, so create Warrior 3, then come into the pose. When you push off your left toes, lift your right one, or lift your left leg. Really keep a powerful lifted leg. And if you find your right toes are gripping your mat, try to bring some weight back into your heel. That might help to stabilize some of the balance. Exhale, inhale to come up, and lower your arm. Good idea. Now take your feet a little wider towards the edges of your mat. Heels in, and start to move down to a squat, Malasana. Everything we've been doing is kind of internal rotation, or much of what we've been doing is internal rotation. So just take a moment here to push a little more space into our inner thighs. Now take a hand behind you, lower your bum, and then lower yourself all the way on to your back. When you're on your back, breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. Put a little bend in your knees so you can push through your heels and shift your bum towards the left side of your mat. Extend your right leg forward towards the front and bring your left knee up. Now guide with your right hand your left knee all the way over to the right side. And here you can, if you find there's some space between your left leg and the ground, you can close that space, block or bolster if you have one. Extend your left arm wide at shoulder height, and you can look in that direction as well. Turn to look up towards the ceiling. Safely unwind out of the pose. And once you have centered yourself, move your bum over to the right side of your mat. Extend your left leg, lift your right knee, and then guide your right knee over towards the left. Take your right arm out at shoulder height. and turn in that direction. Look towards the ceiling. Come out of your pose. Once you've centered in the middle of your mat, bring your knees to your chest. It can be a loose connection, or you can hug them in a little more deeply if you'd like. And then Shavasana. Extend your legs, heels towards the top two corners of your mat. And your arms can be close to your sides. You can take a little more space between your torso and your arms if you'd like. Breathe in through your nose. And out through your mouth. Bend your knees and walk your feet closer to your bum. Keep your right arm extended. Shift your bum to the left a little and roll to your right side. And come into the fetal position. Just take a breath or two. And then push away from the ground. Come up to a supported seat, wherever you find that. Bring your hands to your heart. And a moment to recognize your efforts in exploring the finer points, details of Warrior 3. And for carving the time out of your day for this. Thank you so much. Namaste.